All right, this is the homework for lesson 13. Really we're switching this up because I think it will work better to have me help you a little bit with a video for the homework rather than a video for the lesson itself. It was a neat idea, but it wasn't really working the way I had hoped. So with this, really it's optional to watch the video. So if you want the help, cool, watch the video. If you don't want the help and you're like, Mr. K, turn me loose, also cool. You don't have to watch the video. Whereas when it was the lesson itself, you had to watch the video, and if you didn't, it screwed everything up, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. And so really, we start off with some pretty basic stuff. Once again, I would encourage you to have a little homework helper sheet to go along with this, because they do not give us a whole lot of room, right? And so if you have this, you can, do all of your stuff that you need to get done, right? Because, good luck fitting that somewhere in here, okay? So really, these first three, pretty straightforward. I would just set it up like this on a separate sheet of paper, and then take your answer, put it in here. So pretty straightforward. Where it gets a little less straightforward is down here. So you can pause, give those a shot. But down here is where it gets a little bit less easy, I guess you could say. So really we need to be looking at our table up here. So it's got the country over here and the area in square miles. So we have Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. And so we have all the different sizes. So let's talk about this for a second, okay? So what is the total area of Honduras and Guatemala? So we're looking for the total area of Guatemala and Honduras. I think I actually read that backwards, but no big deal, right? So we need to come up here and find the two numbers we're working with, right? So we've got Guatemala right here, Honduras right here. So we're working with these two numbers. Now, if it's asking for the total area, that means, we gotta kind of put them together, right? So you would simply set that up as a addition problem, right? So coming back to my homework helper, I would set it up kind of like this, okay? So there's number 4, because we're on number 4. Guatemala is 42,042. Wow, I need to really work on my handwriting, you guys, sorry. And then Honduras is a little bit bigger, got 43,278. Okay, and then you simply add this up. If you really wanted to, you could also set it up kind of like this, where you've got, your 42,042 right there on your math mountain, and your 43,278 right here, and we're looking for in up here, right? Because we're looking for a number. But I'm not going to make you do it like that right now. So that's number 4, right? So which two countries have the least area? So you need to find the two countries from the table that have the least area. So obviously that means there's a smallest, right? And then what is the sum of their areas? So we're going to underline that word sum. I'm going to put a little plus above it, okay? Because when we're looking for the sum, we're looking to add them together, okay? Then kind of down here it says which is greater, the area of Nicaragua or the total area of Costa Rica and Panama. So here is kind of a two-step problem, if you will, right? Because you have to compare Nicaragua to Costa Rica and Panama and answer the question, which is greater? So really, I could set this up as blank is greater, kind of as a reminder. So obviously you take these two, and if you're looking for the total area, you take these two and you add them together, right? And then you compare this number that you get to that number. Once again, we're looking at, well, I can fit that all on the screen. All right, we're looking at Nicaragua, which is pretty big, right? And Panama and Costa Rica added together, okay? So you'd want to take both of those, add them together, then compare it to that number right there. Okay, so once again, that's where your homework helper sheet will come in super handy. Now for this last one, it says how much greater is the area of Honduras than the area of Guatemala. So we have Honduras right here and Guatemala right here. We're trying to figure out how much more area does Honduras have, okay? So when we're looking for how much greater, we're going to be subtracting, all right? Notice I'm not doing the work for you. I'm just giving you a little bit of help because you are fully capable of doing this work yourself. And I'm just not going to do it for you, okay? So obviously this is really straightforward. We subtract and we use the addition. Now this is where some of us start to struggle a little bit, so I am going to demonstrate with one of these and then have you do the other on your own. All right. So I'm going to get my handy homework helper and I'm going to compare them. So I've got 1,500 minus 705. Got to borrow way across over here. Ooh, sloppy, Mr. K. So remember, if we're unbundling one of our hundreds, we've only got 4 of them left. Then we have to unbundle one of our tens, so that means we end up with 9 tens, and then 10 in the one spot. Okay, so we've got 5, 9. We've got to do this. So we've got our answer right here, right? So when we are checking, it says to use addition to check, we use this number and that number, and we add them back together, and hopefully it equals that number, okay? So we actually do kind of have room to do this right here. So I'm just going to fill in my answer real quick, and then I'm going to take 705 plus 795 and add it back together, okay? And boom, it works out. So my total is again my total, and everything's good. So go ahead and give that a try for this one, okay? All right, so this one, these right here are based off of the table again, right over here. So how many fewer people attended game 4 than game 5? So you find which game and how many, and then it says how many fewer. So I think you can probably figure out what you're supposed to do on this one. Then we have, what is the difference between the greatest number of fans and the least number at a game? All right. So remember, when we see this word difference, we aren't talking about, well, one has this many people and one has this many people. We're looking for how many more does this one need to get to this one, right? So it's the difference, the mathematical difference, I guess you could say. So really, that means we are subtracting the greatest number, or the least number from the greatest number, I should say. Okay. Obviously, we're getting pretty good at this. I'm going to have you skip number 5 and number 6. You're welcome. And give this one a try. Because I mean, the addition, we've got that down pretty well, so we don't really need to do it as much, right? Here's the thing. I need you to at least try to do number 8. Okay? Just try it. We will talk about this in class. If you get it wrong, the sky will not fall, I promise you. So just give this a shot. So I'll read it out loud and explain a couple things for you. So it says, stretch your thinking. The equation 32,904 plus m equals 61,381. So that shows that the number of females plus the number of males, which is m, living in a certain city equals the total population. Write a subtraction equation that represents the same situation. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You've got something right here, something right here, and something right here. And if we can figure out where to put those somethings on a math mountain, that'll make it pretty easy for you to not only figure out what m equals, but where all of these things go and the subtraction equation. Okay? So it wants you to write the subtraction equation and then answer how many males live in the city. So like I said, I would at least give this a try. So remember, our whole goes up here, and our parts go down here, and that's the only hint I'm going to give you. All right.